Okay, hello. So my name is Ainārs, and I'll be trying to explain and show and give you a short story on what do we specifically do, which is what I said, right, and what our moderator said before. And our director just now explained a couple of things regarding us, but just to have an overview, local people know that we're here, but if you come from abroad, we are right there. We have many things that are great about our country, and we are excellent in many things, as it was pointed out just now. And so I come from the Institute of Solid-State Physics, and we have our specific goals as fundamental research institution. We strive to excel, to identify new things, to do fundamental research. But all that fundamental research has to end up in some use cases and new technologies that we can use, and that has been proven today, that understanding and really having the knowledge and expertise will bring to new products and new things. So here we are. This is our building. All the great things are happening there. And the numbers are correct, as you can see with the director, right? 320 plus people. We have our clean rooms. We have many, many people who are very knowledgeable and experts in what they do. So to overall cap what we are doing, these are main 5 things that we excel at, okay? All the materials for various uses. So to generalize, we could say, okay, these are the materials that we're working. Of course, it's in various kind of sizes of materials, from nano and sub-nano materials to micro materials, as well as various composites, organic or inorganic. People like to synthesize things. People like to investigate what they have synthesized. But as I mentioned, what we need is a function, eventually. So technically, the fundamental research is striving for these applications, right? We say, OK, we're working with materials for energy harvesting, which would be any kind of photocatalytic or catalytic materials in general. We want to store it, right? We want to have energy storage in batteries. Everybody knows about batteries, but as well as, for example, in form of hydrogen. And that is what, let's say, Knoks Technologies is trying to do, right? Other things, sensors, as director just mentioned, and organ on chip is something that we also like to think about. But all of that, what do we want to do with it, or what can we do with it, is to help and identify a couple of things. So let's say I have a material, right? Something that I don't know what it is. So if I come from the institute, right, I know what I'm working with. But if I, let's say, I'm synthesizing something new, and I have something, but it is something different than it used to be, something new. So I want to go and find somewhere where to investigate it. If I have some weird process that is happening suddenly in my production, that is something, again, that I have to investigate. What is that? Why does it glow like that? Or what's happening with the temperatures, etc. Or if I specifically know what I need or what I have these nanostructures. OK, great. But why there are holes? Or I want to know the distribution of phases within this material. Or in this specific case, something is happening with my material that is not what I was intending it to do. So from the industrial part, if I am producing something, I need an answer. I need to identify it. I need to have it identified quick, right? Because I can't wait for weeks and months and years, and et cetera. But I might have an idea of what that exactly is. So what is the main solution that I can do is, well, look around. What nowadays do? We search for it. I know that usually we use Googling for it, but you know, being free and not looked after, etc. So we search for it. How was it happening before? I search for it. I find a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy, and brings me to a guy working in the institute. Right? He says, oh, you want this. But when I speak to the guy who technically could know the answer, he says, well, I can give you two kinds of answers. So I can go left or right. And on one hand, I say, no, that is impossible. It's too complicated. I'm doing something else. I don't have time, etc. Variations of that. The other side is, well, sure, we can do it. Give us 5 years, couple million euros, and we'll build the best device there is. We'll identify everything. We'll know to the core level. What is it? From modeling to building, synthesis, everything. The answer will be very simple, but we'll need this much money and this much time. So where's the problem? When I come in with my problem and I go directly to some guy that I just met, we don't speak the same languages. So what we are doing and what we have identified that has to be done is to bring this knowledge that we have in the institute and in the scientific community in general in Latvia and translate it from one way to another. And we have done that for a while now. I mean, for specific solutions. For example, a company came in and said, we don't know what it is, right? Please identify this material. And we have done that. But that is fairly simple, right? That is something that you can do in roughly any institution. But again, you have to find a single focal point where that can be done. And this is what Materize is doing. Or people came to us and said, well, we have an idea how to improve on the light source. Can you help us with that? And that is exactly what we did. People in the institute identified, OK, so you want to have as much light in this specific spatial range. Right. We can model it. We can suggest a specific structure that can be used for that. And they went on to create these structures. Not these specifically. This was actually one of the unsuccessful iterations, but just to show that we go through variations, and that is good enough. And with that, we're working with additional companies and have helped with previously mentioned ME-Blue investigating the whole device, the whole LED, or OLED, to identify if the material is good or not. We're working with NACO technologies, working on the electrolyzers in various things and trying to help each other how to do all those things. Or where the expertise really helps is, for example, here. I know that it might not make much sense for the graph, but on the left-hand side, we have material that the company came and said, well, I have this amazing material. I want you to test it in the batteries. I know that it's going to be great. We're going to measure it here, right, in a specific range. And it turns out that it's not great, right? In this range, it's not good. Right. So what are the variations? Our experts suggested, OK, this range is not good. Let's try in a different range. Turns out in a different range, if we extend it far enough, then that material is good. So the core idea of the company was good. Yes, this is a good material. It can be used. But you have to find the specific use case and not the general use case that we would think of usually. So through all of these results and investigations, what do we have? We have a bunch of small things that we want to build a result. So to build this kind of result, something that can work with, or something that we later on can improve on, we have to have the knowledge, and we have to work with the companies to specify, to understand what do we want on one hand side. I want to have a solution, and then from the other side, I have all these bricks, and how can I put them all together so that we work from both ways, and we get to the result that we really want. As an example, these are a couple of our partners that we have worked with and have helped them to work and keep working with them. And to summarize all of this, these are the main things that Materize is doing and we are trying to go for. Right? We want to be single point of contact so that if you have a problem, you come to us and we look for a solution. If we can do it, amazing. We help you. We solve this specific problem, or we look how to solve it in broader scale. If we can't help it, there are other people in the research community that maybe can help. So it's not just that we want to do only us and help only ourselves. We want to help evolve the new technologies in Latvia and abroad, and that is what we're trying to do. And there you go. Of course, we need to plug some information. Thank you very much. That's going to be it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Knoks, for the presentation. Let's chat more in the discussion, all right? We're going to save the questions for that, so we have more time for the discussion.